So there has been a lot of news lately with the Final Fantasy franchise between Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, and the mobile game Ever Crisis, right? But I wanted to talk about Final Fantasy 16 because this game is coming out soon, next week as of recording this video, and this game might change something big in the Final Fantasy name. So I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan, and my favorite game of all time is Final Fantasy X, and it's actually where I got my tag from. But there has been many different things going on with Final Fantasy throughout their games that it changed from being a big name and a big popular franchise to still being a big name, right? But not as popular as it once was. It's really interesting to me to see other well-known names become more popular now than Final Fantasy, where back then that wasn't even the case at all, you know? For example, the Monster Hunter franchise is now more popular than Final Fantasy. Persona 5 changed the Persona brand, and now it's so huge in popularity, which again, it was not the case back then. And now more recently with Legend of Zelda, where Legend of Zelda, as iconic as it is, it wasn't nearly as popular as Final Fantasy. And I'm sure there's more recognizable franchises out there that, weren't as popular and now are bigger than Final Fantasy in terms of sales and popularity, right? But why did this happen to the Final Fantasy name? Well, I think it's about the decisions they made, when making their mainline games, dividing the community with different gameplay mechanics. Back in the 90s or 2000s, turn-based RPGs were a big deal, and the more the industry changed, the more turn-based became more less used for games and less liked by the public, especially here on the West, because obviously Japan still loved their, traditional turn-based RPGs. But it changed so much that to the point that now we rarely see any turn-based RPGs or any turn-based mechanics used on games, especially AAA RPGs, right? So since Final Fantasy started as a turn-based RPG, it has been slowly changing to an action RPG, and it's been dividing fans. We see it everywhere, right? I mean, you see people complain about how Final Fantasy is not how it once was, So to the point that hardcore fans have been just not playing their new Final Fantasy games or even care for them, And then the new fans haven't really got into the franchise yet because for them, it didn't look too appealing to them, And this is why I think this game, Final Fantasy 16, will change the way Final Fantasy has been seen recently. They will get those new fans that they've been aiming for years, and maybe get those older fans as well to try out their new game here in Final Fantasy 16. For me, I went with the flow and what they changed in their games. I mean, I'm still playing their games, even if they changed it to action. I'm still gonna play them, but I always will prefer turn-based over action RPGs, but it's Final Fantasy, right? They haven't disappointed me for the most part. But the reason that I believe this game will attract new and old fans into the game is because, first, it's been years since we have a proper mainline Final Fantasy. I think since 2016 we had Final Fantasy 15, right? But the main thing that I think will attract new fans and also old fans is the work that has been put into the making this game. If y'all remember, Square Enix showed the team behind Final Fantasy 16, and you can tell they poured everything into this game based on the team they used to make this game. They showed this picture a while back where it shows all the development staff that worked on Final Fantasy 16, and people were actually shocked how much care they've been putting into the game. But recently they announced more teams that helped, like Platinum Games, and Platinum is well known for their games like Nier Automata and the Bayonetta series, so they know how to make great action RPGs. And then they also announced that the Kingdom Hearts team also helped in some way for this game, so there's a lot of backing into this game. And based on all this, it seems that Square put everything, and I mean everything, into this game. And I haven't seen Square Enix this passionate on a game recently, to the point that Yoshi P, the producer of this game, said there will be no day one patch, meaning the game will probably work on release without being broken like many other modern AAA games being released recently, which apparently it's a big deal and a rare occasion nowadays. So it's actually kind of sad, right? So the gameplay will be more action, yes, but better than we have seen in most modern action games based on the team behind it. The story will be great based on Yoshi P himself, a really good producer when it comes to storytelling based on his work with Final Fantasy XIV, the MMO. So all these boxes are being checked, and the only thing that people will wait for is the reviews, and which again, I believe this game will be reviewed as one of the highest Final Fantasy games, just like we had back in the day where so many great titles were rated so high, you know, especially on the PS1 era. I think as people see more reviews and people playing it on release, you know, it will drive people to get the game themselves so they could try it out, especially if you're new to the Final Fantasy franchise and you don't know much about it like many others. It would, you know, it would make you want to try the game for yourself, you know. This could be the game that pushes what Square Enix wanted with attracting a wide variety of new players and have those old players come back. So I think this is a really good game and good jumping point to the Final Fantasy franchise. Now, I did try the demo, and the demo alone got me hooked on the story, made me want more. So I can't wait for the game to come out, and I'm sure people that tried the demo and haven't bought the game are going to buy the game after playing the demo. So if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. Your data actually transfers over from the demo to the full game when you buy it, so there's no risk in trying it out, you know. But what do you think of all this? Are you excited for the game? Are you picking up day one? I got my deluxe version of the game. I can't wait to try it out. So be sure to subscribe, share, and like the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Later.